Alright, recruits. Captain Boone told me to put out information on how I get my boots shine. I know I sent something out before. Another cadre mentioned it previously, but Captain Boone said that I need to make sure everyone knows how to shine their boots. People are going to start getting memos. He mentioned that the boots being shined are very important to him. Sounds like it's some type of Irish tradition. So I get a kit from Amazon. Amazon's locations are usually available all over across the United States. I get a Kiwi kit. It comes with a brush, soft brush, polish brush, Kiwi polish, and a soft cloth. I find that the Kiwi polish works pretty well. Some I've used in the past that work great, and some I've used that just don't seem to give it the same type of shine. So the brush right here, I use this to knock off all the dirt. So today at the construction site, there's a lot of dirt and dust, so these boots are probably as dirty as they have been. So you want to spend a lot of time to try and knock off all that loose debris, get them nice and clean. You don't want to put on new polish on a dirty boot. Also, I know it's kind of late for this, but when you get a new boot, you're supposed to put a lot of layers on it initially to kind of help soak in that polish to the leather. And by all means, I am not an expert at this. I just found something that works for me, and I just want to share the knowledge that I've been using. So I tread the whole boot here, trying to get in all the nicks and crannies. So I'm spending actually a lot more time on this part than I normally do, just because today we were in that dirt. Generally, if we're just at the tower, you shouldn't have a lot of dirt and stuff to knock down, but there's a lot of dust and stuff, so spend a little extra time now so that you can kind of have a nicer boot. Later down the road. Yeah, so this boot definitely doesn't look that nice. I got some cracks and stuff right here. But as you can see, just doing this gets them cleaned up. Like I said, I'd normally spend a fraction of this amount of time with this part. Alright, kind of over that. So take the polish. Put it on the brush. Spit them out. And then as you start kind of with the toe, work the polish around. Don't want to have too much in one spot, don't want to have too little. And just circular motions. Try and evenly distribute that polish. If you notice an area that is a little bit more worn or has gotten scuffed or nicked, you could spend maybe a little bit more time and add more polish in that area. Or best thing to do to get the best results is just to do multiple layers of polish. Add a little bit more on there. I find spots like where you get the creases and the bends. Spend a little love in there, try and get polish in there, doesn't get all dried out and cracked, but they're gonna do that regardless. I get the whole zipper and whatever this thing's called. Well, I don't try and get the zipper, like the actual zipper, that much, but you see what I'm doing. A little bit in here. Super exciting stuff. Hopefully my wife doesn't think I'm crazy talking to myself in the garage. She already thinks I'm crazy, so. So yeah, just make sure you got everything. Touch up areas. I don't really know if it matters, but I tend to not try and go over areas that I've already gotten that have kind of started to dry. Probably doesn't matter too much, but I feel like I'm kind of messing up. Let's settle on in. Alright, so let that dry a little bit. Naturally, you can work on the other one. I really don't know the time limit for how long the polish should soak in. I'm going to use a heat gun. Sometimes I use the heat gun, sometimes I don't. I definitely noticed that this heat gun helps with getting a little better shine at the toe. I also heard that, especially when the boots are new and stuff, like using the heat gun really helps open up the pores in the leather to allow that polish to absorb, helping kind of break in your boot better. But heat gun I don't believe is necessary, absolutely necessary, and you gotta be careful not to damage your boot, catch it on fire or melt it. So I could see kind of like scuffs and stuff. Sometimes you can kind of almost get those out with this brush a little bit. If you have a good enough amount of polish on that toe already built in, you can kind of, it almost kind of warms up and it kind of smooths over, but you're obviously going to want to hit that with some polish. Try and get here. And like I mentioned, this part's usually pretty quick, but all the dust at the job site made things a little messier. So I'm doing this boot and letting that one dry a little bit. What I'm gonna do though is hit that one with the heat gun. I don't think it really matters, but I kind of try and let this thing dry a little naturally before I hit it with the heat gun. My outlet's being kind of stupid. About that. So I use a heat gun. Get them at Lowe's, whatever hardware store you use. So the one that I already put polish on, I'm going to heat up. You'll start to see kind of it shine. You know, just see a little shine. And then kind of stop. You don't want to like melt anything. Toes sometimes doesn't really shine as well. That's fine. Like I said, you don't want to overheat things, burn it, melt it, damage the material. There's your heat gun. And then while that's letting the heat gun polish, absorb, and cool down, I'll start doing the polish on the other boot. You don't want to wipe off that polish right away after it's all warm. I think it can kind of easily just get knocked off. I don't know. No professional advice here, just my opinion. Yeah, so good stuff. So just try and work it in to all the little cracks. Obviously focus on that toe area a lot. That is where they're primarily going to be looking, but you also want to have a nice fresh looking boot throughout. Or polish. So put a little less polish than I do just on the toe. And you'll find if you keep on this, it's kind of easier to maintain them when you do it daily. Then you can do a little bit more of a detailed job over the weekends if you'd like. Yeah, get this part. I think on this other one I kind of missed that. It's kind of dirty. Hopefully you guys could see this. That'd be funny if this wasn't even in the camera spot. Get this little zipper thing. This is probably a pretty good spot to get. It's pretty visible, especially after today. Easy to get dust and all that stuck in these little places in between the laces. I just go right over the laces. I don't care. Alright. So I'm pretty good. So by that time, this is kind of cooled down enough so you can start lightly rubbing off the polish. So this is the one that we use the heat gun on. Yeah, I always like to just kind of lightly knock off that polish that I rubbed on. Just pretty softly. You can kind of see it. You can smooth it over. Knock off excess. Get stuff out of the cracks in the corners. If you have any buildup, kind of smooth over everything. Pretty good little scuff back here I just noticed. These boots are looking a little rough after today. All right. Put this thing up. So I would probably I'm definitely going to hit this other spot. I'll probably just do it now so it can get dry. I'm working on it. I got this little nick here, so just little touch-up spots if, as needed. I'm not super stoked on some of these cracks right here. Just leave it for now. But yeah, it's this spot. These are other pretty visible spots. I don't know if this is covered by your heel, but or covered by your pants. Alright, so the last to get the spit shine finish that Captain Boone is looking for. This Haix boot allows you to do the toe very easily because it has this rubber cap. So folks that have the 511 or another style boot that don't have this rubber protection, whatever it is, it's going to be at a little disadvantage because you have to make your own line. So in the cap of this, I have a little spray bottle. I just put a little bit of water. And then cloth around my index finger. Get a little bit of polish. Maybe just a little bit more. Fuck. Just a little bit. A little bit of water. And then I want to make sure you can see this part. Just start doing a circular motion. Initially, I kind of try and get that polish over the whole boot. You see that? Or not the whole boot, but the whole toe. And then I just start working it in. And here you'll have to just kind of play around and get your own kind of sense of how much water you're going to need. So you'll have to like kind of keep tapping in a little bit of water and just get that perfect ratio of water to polish. And I think the toe it starts to warm up a little bit with the polish after you're causing all this friction, and then you're going to see shine start to come through. Just making sure you're getting all areas. You can even go back and forth a little bit instead of circular. I kind of do circular for the most part, but sometimes I do like a little back and forth motion. You'll kind of see like what results you're getting, what would work better for you. So towards the beginning of putting the polish on the toe, I tend to do less water. As I'm getting towards the end, the more water seems better because it really seems to kind of help shine it more, but you definitely have to work it in for a little bit. It seems like it's starting to kind of smear a little bit, so I'll add a little water. Just kind of play around with it. Like the side seems pretty good, but the top's a little messy, so clean it up. You can try that back and forth motion. A little water on it. Maybe even think about going to a little cleaner spot on the rag. Seeing if that helps out at all. A little water on it. So here, yeah, putting a good amount of water on it. That seems to be kind of helping the smears go away. It's looking pretty good. I got this kind of corner here. Alright, so I just kind of lightly, anything that's kind of wet still, I'll just make this nice and taut. Very lightly, just kind of try and dry it so I don't wipe off any polish. And here's your shiny toe. So you can do that multiple times. You can do multiple coats on the whole boot. It's definitely going to help out. The toe, you can do that multiple times, so then you just repeat. You would do the polish on the cloth, wet it, and see if you can get even a higher gloss. I haven't done that a whole lot. I haven't found a big improvement between the two. As far as like the time it takes, it doesn't seem like it's much better, but I think people do get a higher gloss sometimes with doing it multiple times. So yeah, that's the finished product of this boot. But yeah, I did that spot in the back, so just knock that off. Yeah, there you go, that spot's taken out. So yeah, I do the same thing with the other boot. I still gotta use the heat gun on that. Quickly knock it off, then finish with the toe. So that is the end of my tutorial. Sorry you had to watch this. Please don't make fun of me too much. And peace out.